Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Jada Toys 1:32 scale Hollywood Rides Fast and Furious Ford Crown Victoria police car. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got a hook. Fast and Furious, and then we've got a window so you can see partial top view of the car that wraps around to the front. Die-cast Jada, Fast and Furious Ford Crown Victoria 8 and up. Dom Toretto. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print. You need a screwdriver, car stuff. More small fine legalese print, universal Jada, and a barcode. Made in China is probably on there too. On this side, Fast and Furious, and you got a window where you can see a partial view of the front of the car, or you can kind of turn it and see a little bit more. No window on this side, just says Fast and Furious, and there's this anti-theft sticker, I guess is what that is. And then finally, on the back, Fast and Furious, also available to cross-sale of all of this stuff. And then Don't Give It to Babies, Jada Toys, Symbols I'm Not Gonna Learn, and JadaToys.com. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the vehicle. And, you know, it's a black and white. And you can see on the front here, it's got the Ford logo. It's got some nice detailed grille work there. Some clear plastic for the headlights. And then, you know, a little bit of detail down there on the bumper. From the side here, you know, this looks like standard police issue wheels. And then, you know, I don't know what it's cast in, or certain parts are cast in what colors or whatever. So I'm not sure how that goes. The deco looks to be tampos to protect and serve, it says on the door. And then it's got a logo. Universal Studios. Founded in 1912. City of Universal Studios. So there's that. It's got some black there for the mirror. The front does open up. It's not the easiest to get open because of the window is rolled up. So you got to dig your fingernail down in there a little bit. And you can see there's some nice little bits of detail going on. The steering wheel, the dashboard, the console. And can't really see with the camera what's all going on in the back, but maybe you can see like the mesh in between the front and the back there. And then also in there's the computer and some detail on the console there that is kind of hard to see. Let's get the handy dandy pin light out and see if I can shed some light on those internal details there. So hopefully y'all can see some of that. And then we'll set that to the side for a minute and we'll open it up on the other side. And then on the back of emergency 911 or emergency dial 911, fire, police, and medical. And you can see it's got dots in between the numbers, so you have to pronounce it like William Shatner used to do on the old Rescue 911 show, and it'd be emergency dial 911. So maybe some of y'all got that joke. On the back, again, the Ford emblem. We've got some silver paint here. Where on the sides of the license plate, we've got some red translucent plastic for the brake lights. And then on the other side, again, we've got emergency dial 911. And for fire, police, and medical, again, same hubcaps, same logos on the door. And again, the door does open up. I'll get the handy dandy pin light back out, so maybe you can see a little bit more of that detail in the dash. So pretty neat, and that's pretty detailed. And then, you know, same hubcaps, and then we're back around to the front. From the top down, it's car number 12, and then it's got some clear plastic with a little bit of, or translucent plastic with a little bit of color for the blue and the red, and then clear in the middle, which should be like black or something, I don't know. And then on the bottom, there's a little bit of molded detail going on down here, and it gives you information, Jada toys and all of that stuff. And then scale 1 to 32, Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you a year, but you know, it's from the 90s, maybe even the early aughts, used under license. And JadaToys.com, made in China, molded right in there. So there you have it, my friends. Hopefully a nice look at the vehicle. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Jada Toys Hollywood Rides 1 to 32 scale Fast and Furious Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor with the Jada Toys 1 to 32 scale Hollywood Rides Smokey and the Bandit 1977 Pontiac Firebird, and the Jada Toys Hollywood Rides 1 to 32 scale Fast and Furious Agency SUV. For final ramblings on the Jada Toys Hollywood Rides 1 to 32 scale Fast and Furious Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, you know, I have to say this, it takes me back to the 90s and even, you know, the early aughts. I think they were still using these as police cruisers and interceptors. And if you grew up in the 90s, or you were, you know, young adult in the 90s, then you remember these guys. You saw these cars everywhere. They were all over TV. They were all over the roads. And again, they were everywhere. Not always black and whites. Sometimes, you know, a lot of state trooper divisions used them too. And by divisions, I mean, you know, each state, you know. So they were the police car during that time period. And, you know, they lasted a long time, it seems. And they pulled duty as police vehicles for a long time. Now, hopefully none of you got to see like these from the, you know, the back seat view. I would hope not. I never had to, you know, get that view. But, you know, I know there's probably some folks who have seen it from that angle, and, you know, stuff happens. But as far as this goes, you know, it's a very good reproduction of it. And it really takes me back. I would like, you know, to see some of these in different color configurations. But being from Fast and Furious, probably that's not going to happen. I do like the interior. The interior, I think, is really well done, again, for the scale that this is. You know, you got all kinds of bits and bobs and doodads going on. And then it's even got the, you know, the mesh, metal mesh in between the front and back of the vehicle. And overall, I just say it looks, I think I like the look of it. Again, it's very nostalgic. It does take me back to that time period when I was a young adult and doing a lot of driving, and, you know, maybe not always obeying the speed limit, allegedly. And so you'd always be on the lookout for a Crown Vic, you know, the silhouette of a Crown Vic. And, you know, if you saw one, ooh, I might have been going a little too fast, so I hope that wasn't the police. But most of the time it wasn't, but still, again, everywhere had these. And if you lived in a municipality that did not have a Crown Victoria police car, then you probably weren't paying any taxes at all in that municipality, because everywhere had them. And again, I think this is a nice look for the police car. They did a good job making it look like what it's supposed to be. And again, I would like to see some different colors for these, but probably not gonna happen. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.